Chosen one, if you are hearing these words, this is not a coincidence. You didn't click this message by mistake. You didn't glance at that number out of habit. You were led here by divine design at the exact moment your soul was ready to remember. And it all began with a number, 1111. You saw it once and brushed it off. You saw it again and paused. Then it began appearing everywhere, on clocks, receipts, license plates, random timestamps. You started to wonder, why does this keep showing up? Here's your answer. It's not just a number. It is a wake-up call, a spiritual frequency, a cosmic code designed to activate your soul's memory. Because deep within you, beyond the mind, beneath the roles you've played in this life, there is a blueprint, a divine assignment, a soul contract that was written long before your first breath. And 1111 is heaven's way of saying, it's time to wake up, time to shake off the illusion, time to release the sleep, time to remember who you really are. Every time you see 1111, your higher self is being summoned, your inner knowing is being reawakened. The veil thins and suddenly you feel it. You are not who you've been told you are. You are who heaven has called you to be. This number appears when the timing is precise, when the soul is ready, when the code within you begins to pulse with recognition. You are not imagining it. You are not overthinking it. You are receiving the call, a call to rise, a call to align, a call to awaken the soul codes buried within your divine DNA. Every glance at 1111 is not a coincidence. It's a whisper. Every repetition is not random. It's a message. Every moment you notice it is a portal opening. And what lies beyond that portal? Everything you've been sensing but couldn't explain. Everything you felt but were afraid to believe. This is not numerology. This is not fantasy. This is divine mathematics, God's way of speaking in pure signal. And now that you've seen it, felt it, responded to it, there is no going back. Your awakening has begun. And 1111 was only the beginning. You've seen the number. You've felt the pull. Now comes the moment of truth. What are you going to do with the signal? Because 1111 isn't just showing up to comfort you. It's showing up to activate you, to shake your soul out of slumber and remind you, you didn't come here to live an ordinary life. You came here with a mission, and the mission begins with memory. 1111 is not a prediction of your future. It's a reminder of your origin. It's the breath of God saying, you've forgotten who you are. Let me remind you. Every time you see it, you are being called back into alignment, back into your light, back into the ancient agreement you made before you arrived on earth. You are not your job. You are not your wounds. You are not your past. You are a chosen soul with encoded power, sleeping until awakened. And that awakening, it's not a sudden burst of fireworks. It begins quietly, with awareness, with the courage to say, I see it, I accept it, I'm ready. The numbers appear, your breath catches, your mind softens, and your soul whispers, I've been here before, I remember. This is what 1111 is doing to you. It's stirring the sacred within you. It's turning up the volume on a frequency only your soul can hear. Because let's be honest, you always knew there was something more. More than this system. More than the routine. More than the roles you've been taught to play. 11 is the echo of that knowing. The crack in the matrix. The sign that the old world can no longer contain your truth. It is the divine tapping on the door of your spirit saying, awaken, align, it's time. And here's the secret most will miss. The more you respond, the more it appears. The more you notice, the more it speaks. Because God will never force the awakening. He only invites. And now you're being invited to go deeper, to follow the light, to decode what's already living inside you. It's not just a call to believe in something outside of yourself. It's a call to believe in the power inside yourself that's been waiting for permission to rise. And that permission, it doesn't come from anyone else. It comes from you. So what happens when you say yes? What happens when instead of brushing it off, you look at 1111 and say, I hear you, I'm listening, I'm ready. Something begins to stir, not just in your thoughts, but in your spirit, in the space behind your eyes, in the place where silence meets presence. That's your pineal gland, the spiritual antenna, the soul's lens. And every time you respond to the 1111 signal, you are charging it. activating it, opening the divine gate within yourself. You begin to feel connected without explanation. Emotions rise, but they aren't coming from pain. They're coming from recognition, from the memory that you've done this before. You've incarnated with purpose. You've traveled through realms, and now you've come back, not to sleep through life, but to awaken it. 1111 is not just a reminder, it's a launch code. And chosen one, you are the vessel it was designed for. Each sighting of those numbers aligns your vibration closer to the divine plan. Each acknowledgement of that sign rewires your thoughts, shifting you from logic to intuition, from fear to knowing, from confusion to clarity. You're not crazy. You're not unstable. You're not lost. You are being recalled. And what's waiting for you on the other side of this awareness? An entirely new dimension of self. The ability to read energy, to feel truth before it's spoken, to recognize deception not by logic, but by vibration. Because when your soul activates, your senses change, your perception sharpens, your inner voice becomes louder than the noise outside. This is why 1111 keeps finding you, not to entertain you, but to escort you, to walk you out of limitation and into divine identity. You are not just here to notice the signs, you are here to embody the message they carry. And 1111 carries a message louder than words. Wake up, chosen one. The time has come. Not next year, not someday, now. Because every second you delay is a second you live beneath your light. And the world doesn't need more delay. It needs your truth. It needs your voice. It needs your soul on fire with purpose. So the next time you see 1111, don't just glance and move on. Pause, breathe, respond. Because that number is not blinking for fun. It's heaven calling you home. Chosen one, the moment you truly acknowledge the message behind 1111, the veil begins to lift. It's subtle at first. You start feeling a deeper awareness in everyday moments. Synchronicities multiply. You think of someone they call. You speak a desire. It manifests. You feel emotion and suddenly understand where it's coming from. This isn't random. This is alignment. And 1111 is your entry point into it. It's the signal that your soul's GPS is being reactivated, that the divine blueprint you've carried for lifetimes is now downloading into your awareness. And this blueprint changes everything. It changes the way you make decisions. It changes who you allow into your space. It changes what you tolerate, because you're no longer guided by fear, but by inner truth. 1111 is the moment your soul begins to whisper louder than your conditioning. It's when the outer world starts to blur and the inner world comes into focus. You no longer chase validation. You no longer need to explain your knowing. You walk in purpose, not performance. You embody light, not noise. Because when you say yes to the code, you say yes to your divine assignment. And let's be clear, this isn't about a job title. This isn't about chasing status or fame. This is about becoming the fully awakened version of yourself that the world has been waiting for. The one who remembers, the one who moves in silent power, the one who uplifts others without trying, just by being. The more you respond to 1111, the more your vibration shifts into divine clarity. Suddenly, things you used to tolerate feel heavy. Spaces you once fit into feel tight. Conversations that once excited you feel dull. That's because you're not who you were. You're ascending, and when your soul begins to rise, everything not aligned with your new frequency will fall away. People will leave. Plans will collapse. Old desires will fade. Don't panic. This isn't loss. It's sacred recalibration. The number 1111 didn't come to give you comfort. It came to give you permission. Permission to let go, to release, to evolve into your truest form. And here's the truth. You were never meant to stay the same. You were meant to expand, to ascend, to awaken the gifts you promised heaven you'd use once you remembered. And now, you remember, it's not the end of the journey. It's the gate, and chosen one, you've just stepped through it. You've stepped through the gate. Now comes the activation. Because once you begin to see 1111, not just as a sign, but as a summons, everything inside of you shifts. This isn't a cute pattern on a clock. It's a divine countdown to your awakening. It's the moment your dormant codes begin to vibrate. It's the surge that tells the universe, I'm ready. Turn it on. And what turns on? Your vision. Not just your eyesight, but your insight, your ability to see through illusion, to read energy in silence, to feel the presence of truth without a single word spoken. You begin to sense when someone is lying without hearing them speak. You begin to feel when a space isn't aligned before you even walk in. You begin to trust your body, not as something physical, but as a divine compass constantly pointing you toward your purpose. This is not imagination. This is the power that's been waiting inside of you for lifetimes. And all it needed was a signal. 11 is that signal. And when you honor it, the soul answers, not with words, but with a shift. Your breath changes, your sleep deepens, your dreams become vivid, prophetic, unforgettable. You begin waking up at strange hours because your soul is trying to speak louder than your surroundings. You begin seeing signs everywhere, not just numbers, but patterns, animals, faces, shapes, voices, because heaven is no longer sending you small whispers. It's opening portals. You are in a state of spiritual remembrance, and with it comes responsibility. Because when your soul wakes up, the old ways won't satisfy you anymore. You'll try to go back to the comfort, to the distraction, to the routine. But something inside you will resist. That's not discomfort. That's growth. That's your higher self saying, we've passed that level. Don't go backward. And now, every time 1111 shows up again, it's not just to wake you up, it's to keep you awake, to keep you aligned, to keep you moving forward on the divine path meant only for you. This number, this moment, this message, it's all part of a much larger conversation between your soul and your creator. And the more you listen, the more you trust, the more you surrender, the more the path reveals itself. You are not lost. You are not behind. You are not too late. You are exactly where you need to be. And 1111 has arrived to remind you of that every time you forget. Chosen one, here is the truth few are willing to speak. Once your soul begins to awaken, the world around you begins to shake. Not to harm you, not to punish you, but to rearrange itself around the vibration you now carry. Because the energy of 1111 isn't gentle, it's disruptive. Not in a destructive way, but in a sacred, catalytic way. It removes what's false. It exposes what's shallow. It reveals what's been draining you, quietly, constantly, subtly, without your full awareness. And that's why everything feels different now. You're not imagining it. You're not being difficult. You're not changing too fast. You're realigning. The number isn't just showing up for comfort. It's showing up as a mirror. Every time you see 1111, ask yourself, where in my life have I been asleep? What habit? What relationship? What belief? What version of yourself is now outdated? Because 1111 is the soul's alarm clock. And when you truly hear it, you don't just wake up. You get up, you move, you act. You make new choices, you shed old skins. You say no to what once felt comfortable and yes to what feels uncertain, but divinely right. This is why so many people stop at the sign. They see the numbers, but fear the change. They receive the signal, but resist the shift. But not you. You didn't come here to flirt with awakening. You came here to embody it. And that embodiment, it begins with honesty. Radical, soul-shaking honesty. What parts of your life are no longer aligned with the vibration of your soul? What conversations are no longer nourishing you? What dreams are you carrying that were never yours to begin with? These are the questions 1111 asks, and not with judgment, but with invitation. An invitation to rise, to step out of the simulation, to claim your divine reality. It's okay if you don't have all the answers yet. You're not supposed to, because the journey of awakening isn't about information. It's about integration. And right now, your soul is integrating a higher truth, that you are not here to fit in. You are here to radiate, to live in rhythm with heaven's voice, to carry light through every room you enter, to speak with fire and love, to move with conviction and softness, to remember the reason you came. That is the assignment. That is the awakening. That is the gift behind 1111. And chosen one, you are finally ready to receive it. So what happens next? Chosen one. What happens when you stop treating 1111 like a fleeting sign and start honoring it as a sacred conversation? You become the message. You stop chasing guidance because you become guidance. You stop looking for signs because your very presence becomes a living signal to others, to the universe, to the next soul who's on the edge of their own awakening. That's how powerful your alignment is. And that's why you're being called so strongly now, not just to wake up, but to stay awake, to walk differently, to live deliberately, to embody what others only read about. Because once you begin to live in flow with the energy behind 1111, your entire reality begins to bend around your light. Opportunities arrive, the right people appear, doors open that no man could force. Your voice starts to carry weight, not because of volume, but because of resonance. People feel your shift. They can't explain it. They may not understand it, but they know something in you is different. And that difference, it's divine. You've tapped into the realm where faith becomes knowing, where time slows down and intuition speeds up, where your soul leads and everything else follows. But there's one more truth you must hold. This path isn't for everyone. It's for the ones who can walk alone in silence and still trust that heaven is speaking. For the ones who can let go of the old world to step into a kingdom that can't be seen but can be felt. And you, chosen one, have been chosen for that walk. Not because you're better, not because you're perfect, but because you were willing to say yes. Yes to the whispers. Yes to the numbers. Yes to the strange, beautiful unfolding of the soul. So now, take a breath. Feel what's pulsing within you. The doorway is open. The signal has been sent. You are no longer waiting for the shift. You are the shift.